Cherokee.
Want to be a baller? How about a Chrysler 300? $2.16.
Not making this stuff up. Chart's on the screen right now.
And this is an actual study. And like I said, it's called the energy cost by model per mile. It says the cost per mile for each 2007, 2008, or 2009 model sold in the 2007 calendar year. Some new models offered in 2008 are being added as data is collected. Some models sold in 2007 are no longer offered, but their E-cost, that's energy cost, is included. For details on methodology, see Dust to Dust report, which is what we are looking at. Data was gleaned from public records and other sources. Breakdown of various metals, plastics, and fabrics, the use of energy to produce these various materials, the cost of producing various weights of these materials, use of human versus robotic labor, cost per energy unit is not part of this evaluation, only the amount of energy necessary. This has been translated into the dust-to-dust cost per mile below. So this is what it actually cost to make the vehicle and drive it. So of course we're not going to say a Chrysler 300 with a Hemi gets better gas mileage than a Prius.
No, but as far as a benefit to the environment actually goes, the Chrysler 300 is effectively better for the environment because you're using less energy to make and use a Chrysler 300 than you are to make and use a Toyota Prius. I prefer a Chrysler 300, but, you know, I'm actually thinking logically here. Now, I understand that the Prius is now the new Hummer. Last time around that there was a car that everybody had to jump on the bandwagon, that's what it was. Now the Hummer is the signal of excess, the Prius is the signal of, hey, I want to do something good. But the thing is it's basically just people jumping on the bandwagon. I want to buy a Prius because it makes me feel good, I'm doing something, when really you're not thinking the whole thing through.
Pretty much why people voted for Obama. I'm really not thinking this through. I just want to be popular like everyone else. So we'll vote for Obama.
Yeah, well.
Hey, Hitler won in 1939 that way too.
Since we're trying to stay on the topic of hybrid cars, I'm going to choose to avoid the political subject this time around. We may touch on that in a later episode, but hey, this is about hybrid cars. Now I got something else I was just thinking of the other day. How's that? Stop moving around. Okay. It's not edited, folks. The new plug-in hybrid, the Chevy Volt. They say that it's possible for someone to go indefinitely without actually using the gas engine if they commute less than 40 miles a day to work, and that's all they use the car for. Basically, if you plug in the vehicle every night, charge the batteries, drive it 40 miles a day back and forth to work, you'll never use the gasoline engine. Now, I know that today's reformulated gas starts to turn to varnish after as little as 2 weeks. What do you suppose is going to happen if you go 6 months without using the gas engine and then decide, hey, let's take the family on a trip. Let's go up north. You get on the freeway, you drive 40 miles, and the gasoline engine is supposed to kick on and does nothing but crank because the gasoline has gone bad.
You know that commercial about Stable? We should probably invest in Stable.
I think I'd be investing in Stable. And the thing is I don't think GM has got that planned that far ahead. I think they're banking on people using their cars more than 40 miles a day and using that gasoline engine. And those that don't are going to be kind of stuck. They're not going to get any help from GM. They're going to say, well, you should have read your owner's manual. So GM doesn't have to pay the cost of replacing the gasoline engine because it just ran a tank full of crap gas through it. I see this coming. Mark my words. I predict that there are going to be problems with the Chevy Volt within the space of about 2 years. They're not going to figure it out right away, naturally. It's going to be something that's going to have to appear later. You know, gasoline engines need maintenance. Even if you don't use them. You let the vehicle sit, you still need to change the oil. It turns acidic.
We're talking to people who buy hybrids, Tom. They probably know nothing about automobiles. And that's how Chevy is going to get away with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The mentality is, well, I don't have to worry about it. I don't work on the car. Why not? If you buy a car you can work on, doesn't that save you money? As opposed to having to take it somewhere?
Now, what about a warranty? Most manufacturers offer a warranty.
That's a good question. Thanks, Jake, for bringing that up. Now, this obviously to me ties in with the failure rate of batteries in hybrid cars. I know that car dealerships offer a warranty basically to boost sales, to boost customer confidence in the product. Say, hey, it's got a great warranty. That means that it must not have any problems. I really don't think so. It's kind of a Band-Aid. I mean, I know that the cost of the battery packs in, say, a Prius, now I'm just using the Prius as an example because it is the most noticeable. Obviously, the Honda Insight, Camry Hybrid, Highlander Hybrid, these are all other choices, but the fact is, I'm just using the Prius as an example because it's the most visible. The battery packs in a Toyota Prius cost $3,000 to $5,000 to replace.
That is correct.
And as I recall, first generation Priuses had some issues where the batteries would fail after 3 to 5 years.
And they only came with a standard manufacturer's warranty of 3 years, $36,000.
Which means that anybody that owns a first generation Prius right about now has paid that extra $3,000 to $5,000 to replace those battery packs already. And that, in my opinion, is why Toyota changed the warranty. All of a sudden, customers were getting irate. Hey, my batteries aren't working in my car. I can't drive my hybrid unless it's using gasoline. I don't like this. Blah, 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 blah. Toyota had to do something about it to keep it quiet so nobody found out that you got to pay a lot of money to replace these batteries, and you got to do it kind of often. As far as I know, the lifespan of the hybrid battery pack is around 5 to 7 years, according to them.
Maximum.
Maximum. So pretty much, you're looking at about 3 to 5 years in normal use, I would believe.
So I guess if you get a hybrid, you should probably lease it, and then leave the mess for the next sucker who buys it.
Yeah. Don't buy a used hybrid car ever. You will get screwed.
Yeah. Bend over and grab the ankles, boys.
Yep.
It's time for inspection.
Yeah, I'm not liking that.
No.
I'll stick with the diesel if I want to save the environment. Run biodiesel. Then you're taking a waste product and turning it into a fuel and keeping it from going into the environment.
Yeah. What I never understood is why nobody ever went with mainstream natural gas vehicles. Did you ever notice when you work in a factory, most of your forklifts are natural gas?
Or propane.
Or
which is
propane.
Also low emissions gas.
Exactly.
No carbon in propane. Keeps your oil clean, makes your engines last longer. No loss of power as opposed to gasoline.
And if you ever notice, when you're in a factory, most of them are closed up, so there's really no ventilation.
Propane.
Exactly.
Internal
So
combustion.
it's clean enough for you to breathe. Why isn't it clean enough for the earth?
Why don't we use that in our cars? Is there something wrong with it? Or does it maybe not cost as much and the oil companies aren't making as much money off of it?
Or is it because we have an abundance of natural gas in this country and an abundance of crude oil that we can't drill for, and therefore our government decides we have to be a global community, even though, let's face it, nobody really likes America except for Americans. And I'm down with that. But that's why. We're so dependent on foreign crude oil, we had to develop a hybrid system so we can still buy gas.
Time for a change.
Yeah. Is this the change you voted for?
Well, I believe we've exhausted pretty much everything I can think of about the topic.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right.
Anything else, Tom?
Until next week, I'm Tom with an H, and you're not.